Income taxes. Subchapter A, determination of tax liability. Or qualified foreign corporations. The end. Bobby.
I put my treehouse on the market last week. When it sells, do I have to recapture Section 1250 depreciation?
All right, welcome back to our final segment here with David Cohen, a brand therapist, owner of Equation Arts.
Correct.
And I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about your business in just a minute. We were talking in the last segment about the small business owner and branding and so forth. Do you do assessments if someone were watching and they wanted you to assess their message, their branding? Is that something that you do?
I sometimes will take a look at people's websites and give them a little bit of feedback on some things that I think they could be doing better. Generally, when I'm meeting folks, if I feel that they're serious about really trying to improve their brand, I'll sit down with them for a half-hour consultation just to get to know them and see what their situation is, and then take a look at some things we might do.
Gotcha. Because I was just wondering if you did that and people that are watching and say, hey, I want this guy to attack my brand and see where I can improve on. Because I mean, this is something we have an expert like you can come in and see things from a completely different perspective.
Right.
All right. Well, let's kind of change gears a little bit. Maybe you've had a chance to look at my brand. So this is the first time I've had an expert give me advice on the show, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm definitely looking forward to this new segment. What advice can you give Blank Stage, my business, to improve my brand?
Well, number one, keep doing some of the things you're doing well. I think you got a great name, and I've seen some of the programs, and you've had some terrific people on here. I mean, I think about Alan Urich and Dee Dones and Bob Ferris, Brandon Milch. I mean, dynamite people. And sorry if I'm forgetting everyone. I don't know if I've seen them all.
Come on.
But, good quality is always important. I think some things you could work on is, it strikes me when I look at what's online that there's a little bit of a blurry line between Blank Stage and Thrive America. And so understanding the intended experience with each of those, being able to deliver a cleaner, more concise message around both of those would be great. And I think one of the other things in terms of equipping the people you interact with to be a better spokesman and advocate for you. So, helping folks, providing very simple and clear turnkey instructions for, after you do an interview like this, how do you promote it, and make it as simple as possible. Because, if they're here, they're going to have a great experience. You want to then not get in the way of them spreading the word. Yeah.
Well, that's inspiring. I'm going to, I definitely, something like that has crossed my mind. But I think what I'm going to do after this is go out and get get a couple just workbooks, or if you will. But so when my next guest walks away next week, they're going to get a packet. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, that's great. Thanks for advising me there on that as well. Now, my next question, which is a new question, which is something that I'm excited to ask you, is thinking about the future, thinking about your industry and what you're in, and if you could have a crystal ball and they could say, and they could, you're giving your award speech about your business, and 10 years from now, and everyone is thanking you for this invention, this thought, this widget, what would that be? What would love to invent or create or initiate in the world that would change your industry and that you would like to see?
Well, there's a few things, but I have a framework which I call whole brand thinking, and it's really a means of looking at the brand from 10 different points of view. And the idea is to surround it, to understand a lot of the underlying concepts, the backstory, even exploring issues which are, what's your antithesis? What are the lines in the sand you don't want to cross? Because sometimes defining by difference can be a very powerful way of understanding what you're able to do well. So what I'd like to see is take that further and make it a more analytical tool that could help small businesses. Because, branding began, I think, in the consciousness of business around big companies. And there are a lot of folks who still think, that branding, that's for Coca-Cola and Apple, that's not for me. That's not my issue. And it's like, well, I hate to tell you folks, there's this thing out there called the internet. And the internet is this tremendous thing that gives you the opportunity to have all the reach of a big company. But it also means that you have all the noise that the internet can bring, that you have to stand out and really poke out from. And yet you don't have Coca-Cola's budget. You don't have Procter & Gamble's money to put behind your brand promotion. So you've got to be savvy, and you need marketing and branding tactics that understand that your business may not be a consumer product that has a simple process of transaction to make the sale. That maybe you've got a 6-month sales cycle. Maybe you're selling software and integration. Maybe the buyer has to ask themselves, am I going to get fired if I make the wrong choice for this decision? And now you've got a whole different realm of trust issues and development that you need to do around your brand and your reputation that aren't the B2C problem. So what I would love to see is more development and courseware and books and thought put into how do you solve the problem of branding for the little guy, and how do you give them every opportunity? Because I think that is really the key to a strong economy, is all of us small businesses and what we bring and offer.
That's right, and that's something to be said about personal branding as well. Well, we're kind of nearing close, and I want us to understand what it is that you do at Equation Arts. I know you have a book maybe around
in the
corner.
works.
In the works. Okay, fair enough. Tell us more about how we get, what's a good workflow to get in touch with you. Maybe some samples of work you've already done, that kind of thing. So more about Equation Arts and that.
Sure,
kind of
absolutely. Well, I always encourage folks, if they want to know a little bit more about me, to look me up online, equationarts.com or davidcohen.com. If you go to davidcohen.com, you're going to see some of my artwork, and that's the left brain, right brain thing. But what Equation Arts is really all about, it's helping businesses to figure out what their story needs to be. And I kind of look at the process a little bit. Sometimes you may have heard of the screenwriter who writes 4 or 5 pages of copy so they can write 3 lines of dialogue, but really get them just right. You want to have a good, rich backstory. If the backstory is well understood, if I know what you stand for, and I know what you stand against, and where you're excited and you're passionate, and the lines in the sand that you don't want to cross, then I can build a message and help you find the key message points for when you're speaking off the cuff and impromptu that really delivers your story, that sets expectation for where you're going to deliver, and not just the near-term stuff. Expectation in brand building isn't about your price list. It's about the principles you stand for. If you're hoping to get brand loyalty, and brand loyalty can be a powerful thing for your business, you've got to give something for people to be loyal to. People can be loyal to people. People can be loyal to ideas and principles. They're not going to be loyal to a product list. They're not going to be loyal to a menu. And so understand those concepts. And what I would impart to people is think about it as a cycle. You set expectations. You provide action and service. People receive that action and service, and then they judge it against those expectations. They give feedback to others, and that builds your reputation, and the cycle continues. So, the more you think about it as a cycle, and you having a goal and a direction you want to get to, steer towards it and deliver. Don't promise what you can't deliver.
So just what I'm hearing you say again is just you've got to figure out what you love to do. Don't try to promise the world to everybody,
right.
And just really focus in on what it is that you do best, and just repeat it, and go out there and sell yourself, and do everything we can to perfect that craft. We'll have, David, your information on the blog. Take a look at the blog below to link to your website and so forth. And take what you've learned today and apply it in your business. And we'll have a comment section at the bottom of this blog for anybody who wants to leave a comment for you.
Terrific.
If you want to feedback to them as well, that'd be great. And David, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
It's been great having you. Hopefully you won't be a stranger around here. And we'll see you next time here on Thrive America.